Everybody. So just as I was getting on here, a great big old truck drove by because I'm coming to you live, so you just never know what's going to happen. Hello everyone, welcome. I'm going to give a few minutes to allow some people to join me here in this space today. It's kind of, in my world, a quiet, slow kind of morning. I've been very busy, but I don't know, change of season. And I see Victor coming alongside. Hey there, good to see you. And trust that we'll have some other folks join us soon. My name is Ginger Gaines Sorelli. I'm the senior pastor at Foundry United Methodist Church in Washington, D.C. And today is Wednesday, which means it is time. It's noon on the East Coast. And that means that it's time for Ponderings in the Purple Parlor. And I welcome you. I'm glad that you are coming to spend some time with me. And I see Will. Hey there, good to see you. Hey Eddie. And as we continue to kind of gather ourselves in, I will share just one little announcement. Hopefully some others will get this word when they tune in later in the day or in the next few days. This coming Sunday is a big day for Foundry United Methodist Church. We are celebrating our 25th anniversary as a reconciling congregation, which for those of you who may not be part of the United Methodist Church or may not know, is a step that Foundry took those 25 years ago to fully welcome and affirm LGBTQ siblings. And so we are grateful for this day of celebration that's coming up this weekend. So if you're able to, we hope you'll join us. There are going to be some really special pieces of the service, some witnesses, some greetings from special people in the life of Foundry. And so hope you'll join us for that. Again, welcome everyone. It is great to see you. It's great to be back with you on this Wednesday here in the Purple Parlor of my home. And I don't know if this is true everywhere in all the places that you may be. Do let me know where you are as you come to share and to reflect with me today. But I don't know if it's true for you where you are, but where I am, there is a change in the air. It went from summer overnight, it went to fall. It just happened. It was very, very interesting. I mean, I know it happens every year, but it felt very abrupt. And I don't know that I was quite ready because, you know, summer wasn't really summer. It didn't feel quite the way it normally does. There's a chill in the air, and it just starts to feel different. I don't know if you all have those kinds of experiences as the seasons change and shift. But I'm feeling that, and it always makes me think about you know me, I'm always looking for the lesson. And what is it we're being invited to reflect on? So I was thinking this morning about the change of season, and particularly the move into the fall season. And a big piece of that experience every year is watching the green of the leaves turn and fall. That beautiful metaphor and creation of letting go. And I came across this several things I was drawn to that I thought I would share with you today. I came across this reflection from a really lovely, I just started this. It was a gift from a member of Foundry Church to me a while back, and I picked it up this past summer. It's called The Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. I don't know how you say his last name. Anyway, It's a day book with reflections and quite lovely. Anyway, I came across this one, a little quote at the top. It says, "A river doesn't hold all the water that passes through it." That's the kind of teeing it up. And then he writes this: "In our journey through time, we all struggle constantly with what to bring along and what to leave behind. It feels so hard to throw anything away. But if we don't, we will drown underneath the weight of our own making. The river is a good model. It doesn't own the water that rushes by, yet it couldn't be in more intimate relationship to it, as the force of what moves through shapes it. It is the same with everything we love. In truth, there is no point to holding on to the deepest things that matter, for they have already shaped us." I mean, I think you could take this and apply it in a sort of Marie Kondo way. What sparks joy and what doesn't? What do you need to let go? I think there's wisdom in that, not holding on to all the stuff that can weigh down our lives, that sense of simplicity and release and letting go of things. But I was also thinking about this in terms of other stuff too. In terms of life and relationships and understandings of our own selves, ideas, perspectives, that perhaps there's a season for them, and then there's a season when they need to be let go, released. But I love the point that this writer makes about the work of love, that the love that we have received, even when it has been released, maybe a person or a relationship, for whatever reason, has been let go, that love continues to be present and shape us. Anyway, so this is part of what I've been thinking about. And I was also just, it strikes me that oftentimes the spiritual metaphors that we draw in the season of fall and winter have to do with end of life, the life cycle, and the end of life. There's this sense of beauty that comes at the end when there's a natural sort of release into the next season. And yet it's such a bittersweet experience. We know there's beauty there. We see the rhythms and the cycles of life and release, and then death, and then renewed life. We're in a season right now as a people in the world of deep grief and experiencing a lot of loss. And loss in so many ways. Loss of people. People have died. So many people have died from COVID, and then just, people die. We have had the loss of being able to be present with people we love and in communities that we love and that are meaningful to us. We've had the loss of experiences that we would have had, that we were planning to have, whether that's school or work opportunities or travel or just life. There's been a lot of loss in that way. For many of us, we've really been shaken to release some, hopefully, some folks, myself included, are continuing to lose some blinders about some realities in our world, in our culture, and in the ways that some of the members of our human family experience life and are treated so differently. The pandemics are taking a toll. There's a great deal of loss. There are some ideas that need to be released. Some perspectives, some prejudices, with God's help, perhaps, might be released. And so I'm just mindful it's a lot of disruption and loss and a lot of grief. And so as we move into this fall, there's also, of course, the added anxiety that everyone's afraid that the COVID pandemic is just going to get worse because everyone's going to be shut up inside and it's going to be cold and, you know. So there we are. I also found anytime I'm thinking about kind of metaphors in creation and what they might teach us spiritually, I'm often drawn to the poet Mary Oliver, who I've shared with you many times. And this morning when I came across the devotion that I shared earlier, I immediately thought of this poem that I thought I would share with you today, which takes us another step in this reflection on the topic. This is a poem entitled In Blackwater Woods, and it's from American Primitive, which was the book that really, I think, put Mary Oliver firmly on the map. She won a Pulitzer Prize for this volume. Anyway, this is the poem. Look, the trees are turning their own bodies into pillars of light, are giving off the rich fragrance of cinnamon and fulfillment. The long tapers of cattails are bursting and floating away over the blue shoulders of the ponds. And every pond, no matter what its name is nameless now. Every year, everything I have ever learned in my lifetime leads back to this. The fires and the black river of loss, whose other side is salvation, whose meaning none of us will ever know. To live in this world, you must be able to do three things. To love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it. And when the time comes, to let it go. To let it go. The cycles of our lives, even in a time that is not as full of challenge as this one, are always inviting us to this practice of loving what is, of determining what we need to hold, what we need to release. And that really is the work of our lifetime. It's good that we get to do it every year. We're reminded. The cycles remind us. And Mary Oliver points out that in this annual cycle, she's drawn back to this awareness, drawn back to this invitation, this confrontation with the fires in the black river of loss, whose other side is salvation. And then this invitation to love, to not allow that cycle to make you back away from loving for fear of losing, but rather to love, to experience, to be open, to receive, to let everything flow like a river in and through you, to allow that love and that experience and the life that is before you and offered to you every moment, to let that feed you and shape you and nourish and nurture you and move you. And then when it's time, to let it go, to hold it lightly. And so that's the invitation. And I also thought, I had another thing. This is kind of the way my brain works. I read the reflection, the first reflection. It led me to the poem. And then I thought of these verses from John 20. So let me read this. Jesus said to Mary, this was on the other side of the black river of loss, the tomb. Jesus said to Mary, Do not hold on to me, because I have not yet ascended to the Father. But go to my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and to your God. Mary Magdalene went and announced to the disciples, I have seen the Lord. And she told them that he had said these things to her. It's a really strange, that piece always kind of mystifies me. But it struck me today. I thought, it's that in-between space that Jesus has crossed the river. And we don't know fully what it's like on the other side. But it's that thin place, that in-between space. And we're being asked to release the mortal Jesus and to not try to hold the thing that we knew, because that's not the fullness of who Jesus is, maybe. But then that promise is that the release of his body, his presence in that way, doesn't remove the love. That the love that we've received, the love that he is, that the Christ is, that presence and that love continues to be with us, continues to shape and to form us, to fuel and feed and nourish us. And that's a really beautiful promise. I don't know, literally just kind of got led there not very long before I turned on this computer to come and talk to you. So all of this is very much sort of percolating around in my brain. I'm wondering what you make of that, if you see a connection there to this whole idea of the seasons and cycles and the need to release and let go, not to hold on. And so today, I guess my invitation for you, for me, for all of us is just to consider in this season, first of all, to look around, to pay attention to the lessons and the guidance and the wisdom of the creation all around us, and to think about what it is that we are being invited to release, to let go, that we don't need to hold on to. Sometimes, we hold on to things and it's just heavy. It just weighs us down, and it's unnecessary. Certainly, we don't need to hold on to our prejudice. We don't need to hold on to old messages that hook us and make us feel bad. We don't need to hold on to all of this baggage emotionally, or certainly, it's not a bad time, as people were talking about earlier in the pandemic, it's not a bad time to go through your drawers and your closets. Just what can you release? What can you let go? What can you offer to God and allow God to hold it? So that's an invitation. That's an invitation. And I guess the other thing that I want to just affirm again is that it is a season. If you're grieving today the loss of a loved one, whether that loss is very fresh or whether it's one that just continues to be with you, the sense of grief and weight and heaviness, I just want to remind you that grief really, really, really is a sign of the deep love that has shaped you and touched your life. And so perhaps whenever you feel the weight and grief of that, a prayer of thanksgiving, a word of thanksgiving for that extraordinary love that has left you continuing to miss and to grieve the one that you love. And also just an affirmation of that promise that the season really moves into a new season. We go through these things, and we are in a season of loss and grief and pandemics and massive cultural upheaval and change and a lot of anxiety. And you know what I'm going to say next? It's not always going to be this way. We are not going to be in this space forever. The season is going to change. We're going to move in and through it. And so I just want to encourage us to receive what is in this season, learn what we can, experience what we can, hold what we need to, release what is needed to be released, and trust that the love of God is new every morning and always flowing, feeding, nourishing, and encouraging us to keep going, to live into the next season. Be gentle with yourselves. Reach out to those that you care about. Because in any season, you never know what might happen. So don't wait. Don't wait. Thank you so much for being, I think that's what I've got. Yeah, that's what I got today. I hope that you're taking care. Will you pray with me? Loving God, for the seasons that turn and reveal new wisdom and reminders and call us back to the promise of change, even when the change is challenging. We give you thanks. We pray that you would continue to love us, to flow in and through us, to let your love nourish us and encourage us. Be with all of those within the sound of my voice today whose hearts are broken, who are grieving, and who are in a time of needing to let go and still desperately wanting to hold on. Be with all of those who are trying to release things in their lives that they need to release. Help us, O God, to be and to become who you know we are. In this and every season, let us trust you. It's in Jesus' name that I pray. Amen. Thank you ever so much, everyone. Again, if you didn't catch it at the beginning, we got Reconciling Anniversary, 25 years at Foundry on Sunday. It's going to be a really, really, really special day. I hope you'll join us. And Facebook Lives every day with our clergy. So I hope you'll continue to stay connected in that way. Please, please take care. May the peace of God dwell deeply within you. May you know in the core of your being the liberating power of God's love. See you next time.